Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2023 film Departing Seniors. I watched this on Vudu, so that's where you can stream it. And if you don't know what Vudu is, it's owned by Fandango. You can just rent or buy digital movies there to stream. And this one was pretty cheap because it's a low-budget independent film. It was $7 and some change. I think it was exactly $7.41 after tax to rent it, and it's well worth that, in my opinion. This is a queer slasher with a twist, so if that sounds interesting to you, you're probably going to enjoy this. It definitely has a lot of films that it kind of, I won't say borrows from, but is inspired by, that you can tell when you watch the film. Some pretty popular ones over time. And if you think slasher, you'll kind of get what I mean. And when you think twist, and when you find out what the twist is, you also know what I mean. But this one was directed by Clare Cooney, who just did a bunch of short films. So this is the individual's first feature film, which, for a first feature film, well done. Very nice for a first feature film. Written by Jose Nateras, who wrote Struts and Frets. Did not have a lot of writing credits, so again, just like Cooney, I think well done to Nateras on writing a pretty good script for a second feature film, it looks like. Some trigger warnings on this film, because I do like to give that when I am able to. There's bullying in it. There's also homophobic language, for an important reason, because, it is a queer film, so, and it goes with the bullying, but also some talks of suicide. So if any of those things are severely triggering for you, just know that going into it. Quick synopsis. It is about a queer individual in high school and his friend, as he is bullied and he tries to navigate school in his senior year. They're very close to getting out, but guess what? People are dying because this is a slasher film. There's someone on the loose who's killing people. So at the time that this character is trying to deal with the fact that he's being bullied and he's trying to kind of get through life the best way he can, he also is dealing with the fact that people are dying around him. So pretty well done, too. That's all I want to do synopsis-wise. The beginning gives run-of-the-mill slasher vibes. Now, the opening sequence, I was like, okay, we're in a school, okay, there's a slasher thing that happens, and then it goes to title card, and I was like, this feels like it could be super generic. But thankfully, it doesn't become just a generic slasher. It kind of puts its own spin on things. It has its own flavor to it, and it's very charming. It's a very charming film, and I think they do a great job of keeping it feeling very light and fun. And part of that's because the music selection, there is comedy baked into it. I think the direction really keeps it light and fun as well. The performances keep it light and fun. And yeah, it just all comes together to create this really light, fun, kind of charming atmosphere. It's a very endearing film, I will say that much. The dialogue is pretty good. Definitely helps the character relationships a lot. I think the dialogue is one of the things in particular I like the most about this film. It really caught me as being, pretty funny at times, pretty witty at times, but also feeling very realistic for the relationships that these high schoolers were having. There's also this awkwardness in the writing as well that I think is very appropriate for high schoolers. I mean, just think about you when you were in high school. Lots of awkward moments going on there because, you're young. You're trying to figure out who you are still. You're not the best socially, and you're not a grown-up. You don't know how to act socially necessarily. So, yeah, just really like that. Great on the dialogue. The acting is pretty solid as an overall, but the main few people, I think, do quite a good job. And then there are some people who are a little bit just okay. But there's one person in particular I want to shout out, which is the main actor, Ignacio Diaz Silverio. Really good job. Really love that individual's style. I have to say this. They kind of look like Tom Holland. Not the horror director, Tom Holland, but a young Tom Holland, the actor. They kind of look like Tom Holland, and their acting style and delivery style is very similar to Tom Holland, which is obviously not a bad thing. That's totally a compliment. Tom Holland, very good at what he does. And Ignacio Diaz Silverio, very good at what they do. So I have a feeling that this individual, after this film, probably going to start getting some more looks as far as being in films. Really hope the best for that individual. And really everyone involved with this film, because it was pretty good, pretty fun. It does a great job of capturing that high school feel with the awkwardness. There's banter. There's some kind of ridiculous drama that you're kind of like, why are we having this type of drama? And then you remember, oh, it's because it's high schoolers, because that is high school drama. There really were things that I felt I could relate to in this film. Thinking back to when I was in high school, I was just like, yep, that's kind of how it is. Yep, that's kind of how that was. Yep, that's kind of how you were talking with your friends back then. It just does a great job of just capturing all that high school weirdness, I guess. There are some audio level issues in this film. That was one of the biggest problems I ended up having, which didn't destroy the experience, but that was a little bit of a technical issue that I think needed to be sussed out better. There are moments where it sounds totally fine, everything's good, but then there are moments where like a certain actor or actress will be too low on their audio in comparison to someone they're in a scene with, which is a really odd thing. So a few of those kind of audio level issues. Another one of the small issues is they have these computer graphics that come up to show what day it is, and like a day until countdown of day until graduation, and those look severely pixelated. I don't know if that was intentional. If it was intentional, it was a poor choice, but they just look really, really bad. And I think maybe just they didn't even need that necessarily, or honestly, just like show a calendar instead, like being ripped or something like that would have been a better thing. But that doesn't kill the film. I just when I do my reviews, I point everything out, everything good I saw and everything bad that I saw, basically. But some relatively minor things. There is a turn that this film takes that seems like it's kind of out of nowhere. Like I was saying, it's a queer slasher with a twist. That twist aspect, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. I think after that moment, they did a good job of kind of starting to pull me into it and feeling like, okay, it does make sense with the story. I see how they're incorporating it. It is being incorporated pretty well. That's cool. My problem was it just felt to me like, if they were going to go that direction, that they kind of needed to do it earlier, or at least set up the possibility of it earlier in the film, because the world in which you're living feels a certain way, and then once this twist happens, it feels a different way, and you're like, these things feel like they don't go, like it kind of doesn't mesh. But over time, it eventually does, so I mean, that's good. It's pretty well directed and has a light, fun feeling throughout it. I kind of already talked about that. The score fits very well, and like I was saying before, it helps kind of keep it like light and fun. But there are moments where the score becomes a bit too much. One of my big things is I always talk about not screaming at your audience when it comes to your score, like cranking it to 11, going way too hard, because less is more with scores for the most part. And there are some of those moments, especially when there's something intense going on, where they're just like going too hard with the score. The composition of the score, really good, really did enjoy that. It's just they crank it too much at certain times. Also a minor issue. The ending of this is pretty good, but I did see something coming that was pretty major in the film. I saw it coming pretty easily. That's not to say that everyone's going to end up being that way with it, because when I am watching these films, I'm paying even closer attention, and I'm also like trying to think things through a lot while I'm watching it. And I mean, it kind of sucks to watch movies that way sometimes. For the purpose of doing these videos, it's cool, but for the purpose of just like straight up entertainment, it's not as cool. But it is what it is. But just throwing that out there. Out of 5 stars with half stars in play, I'm giving Departing Seniors a very good 3.5-star rating. I thought this one was nice, and like I said, for being a low budget independent film, and also the director is brand new to doing feature films, and the writer hasn't done a ton of scripts, and the actors aren't anyone that I know have done a whole lot. I mean, pretty good. Really enjoyed it. So go ahead and check this one out. It's always good to support low-budget independent horror. I think it's great. So if you could, please do me a favor. Drop a comment if you've seen this film. Let's talk about it. How did you feel about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you in between on it? We can talk that out, because I'm always open to hearing other opinions. And maybe there's something that I didn't talk about in my review that you kind of wish that I did, and we can talk about that in comments. Do me a favor and hit subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that. I really appreciate all the people who have already subscribed and have been with me. You people make me want to keep doing this, basically. So if you want to join that club, please hit subscribe to my channel. It's the best way to repay me for the free content that I'm putting out. Also, you can help me out by hitting the thumbs up on the video. I do appreciate that because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And also, you can hit the notification bell button because then you'll know when I'm putting up new videos, which I'm putting up at least a very short, like 60-second or less video every single day. So I'm putting on a lot of content. Anyway, thank you for checking this out. I really appreciate everyone's time. And until next time, keep it brutal.